I didn't believe in ghosts. I do now. I booked a cheap hotel for a work trip. Nothing fancy, just a last-minute deal online. But what I didn't know is that someone had died in that room just a few weeks before. This is what happened during my one and only night, room 217. I travel for work a lot. Conferences, workshops, boring stuff. So I'm used to weird hotels, but this one was different. I was in a small city I'd never been to before. The usual hotel chain was fully booked, so I went online, found a place with okay reviews, kind of old, but cheap, and figured, it's one night, I'll survive. I check in around 9 p.m. The woman at the desk looks up, hesitates for a second, then hands me a key. Room 217. Elevators down. Take the stairs. The hallway is silent. Too silent. You know when it's so quiet, you can hear the lights buzzing? I find the room, unlock the door, and instantly, something feels off. Like, not just AC is on cold. Weirdly cold. And it smells faintly of old flowers, like something was recently covered up. It's cold. Still, I'm tired. I throw my stuff down and try to settle in. That's when I notice the closet. It's slightly open. I close it fully. Click. I know I didn't touch it. And something about the way the door hangs, like it's been pulled open just an inch, makes my skin crawl. So I get up, sit back on the bed. 5 minutes later, click. It's open again. Not wide, just an inch. Just enough to mess with your head. I tell myself it's old hinges. Draft, whatever. I'm not some paranoid TikTok storyteller, right? So I lock it this time, around 1 a.m. I'm trying to sleep, flipping through my phone when I hear a noise, like breathing, but not my breathing. It's soft, slow, coming from the wall behind the bed. At first, I think it's a pipe. There's someone in the next room. But then, it stops the moment I move, like it's listening. Freeze. There's no sound for a full minute. I sit up, heart pounding, and walk over. I unlock the door and swing it open. Warmer than the rest of the room, and it smells. Familiar then. From inside the closet, I hear a faint tap. Just once. That's it. Done. Nothing. Empty. But now, the air inside the closet is warm. Like a candle that's just gone out. I don't sleep. I sit in the corner with the lights on like some amateur ghost hunter. In the morning, I go down to check out. The same front desk woman is there. She doesn't look surprised to see me. I say casually, "Hey, weird question. Has anyone ever said anything strange about room 217? She looks at me, pauses, and says, "We try not to book that room if we can help it." That's all she says. I get outside, phone in hand, and I Google it. A man passed away in that room 3 weeks ago. It wasn't foul play. Just one of those things. But guests had been complaining ever since. Noises, smells, things moving. No official response from the hotel, just rumors. I don't know what happened that night. Maybe I was exhausted. Maybe my mind filled in blanks. But here's the part that still gives me chills. When I got home and unpacked, I noticed something in my bag I didn't remember bringing. A matchbook with the hotel's name on it. I don't smoke. Never picked it up. And that room didn't have any. Still keep it in my drawer. Just to remind myself that some places don't want to be forgotten. I took a solo trip to Death Valley. It was supposed to be a weekend of silence, stars, and solitude. But on my second night, I went hiking off trail. I found a campsite that shouldn't have been there. An old backpack. Melted shoes. Torn map in German. And in the distance, something half buried in the sand. I should have turned around, but I didn't. I've always liked solo camping. The silence, the stars, the feeling that the world's finally shut up for a minute. Death Valley was a bucket list spot for me. Harsh, isolated, massive. The kind of place that makes you feel like an ant under the sun. It was October, still hot, but manageable. I set up my camp near Racetrack Playa, the place where the rocks are said to move on their own. I was the only car for miles, or so I thought. That night was strange from the start. No animals, no wind, just stillness. Like the desert was holding its breath. but to the feeling that someone was nearby. You know when you suddenly go from deep sleep to full alert, like your brain hears something your ears don't? I woke up around 2 a.m., not to a sound. I stayed in the tent, didn't hear footsteps or see anything, eventually fell back asleep. The next morning I took a short hike, maybe a mile off the trail. I wasn't planning to go far, just stretch my legs. But about 15 minutes in, I saw something half buried behind a rock. At first, I thought it was trash. But when I got closer, it was a backpack, sun-bleached, torn. Inside, a cracked compass, a disposable camera, and a folded map. In German, one spot was circled in red, maybe 5 miles from where I stood. I don't speak German, but the ink was faded. It should have been enough for me to leave it alone, but curiosity got the better of me. I marked the spot on my GPS and started walking. About an hour later, I found the remains of an old campsite. Everything looked scorched by the sun, like it had been sitting there for years. There were 2 melted shoes, a rusted pot, and a pile of rocks arranged in a triangle, like a signal or maybe a grave. But here's the part that stopped me cold. There was a child's plastic toy half buried nearby. It was just sitting in the dirt. This wasn't just someone's solo trip. This was a family's. I took photos, marked the location, turned around. As I walked back, something started gnawing at me. The compass from the backpack. I'd kept it in my pocket. It had been working earlier. Now it spun wildly, no matter which way I faced. I stopped, looked around. The landscape had changed, or maybe I'd just gotten turned around. Either way, I was lost. I pulled up my GPS. Dead battery. Now my adrenaline was pumping. The temperature had climbed past 100, and I was alone, off trail, with no signal, and only a half bottle of water. For a minute, I swear I heard voices, faint like wind through a pipe. A man and a woman, not speaking English, but every time I turned toward the sound, it faded, kept walking. After 2 hours, I finally saw the outline of my car in the distance, a tiny shimmer in the heat. Asked him if anyone had gone missing near Racetrack Playa. I sprinted, got in, blasted the AC, and just sat there, heart racing, mind spinning. Later that night, back in town, I showed the park ranger the photos. He looked at one photo, the backpack, and his face changed. "You found that out there?" I nodded. He leaned back and said quietly, "In '96, a family from Germany went missing. They ignored the heat warnings and tried to explore off-road. We searched for days, found their car parked near the edge of the valley, but no sign of them till 2009. 13 years later, their remains were discovered miles from the car, scattered. No one knows how they got that far, or what really happened." What I found, likely one of the last places they camped before everything went wrong. I still have the photo of the map, still wonder what the red circle meant. But one thing I know for sure, the desert keeps its secrets, and it doesn't always want them found.